Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of Beyond the Bottom Line, the video show that takes you on a deep dive behind the scenes of the nonprofit world, sitting down with people who actually make the organizations go and move and shake. And today we're sitting down with a wonderful guest. Her name is Katelyn Yee. We met at Nonprofit Connection Fest, which, by the way, save the date, September 8th. You'll be there. I'll be there. Katelyn will be there. And I'm sure, a dozen other people will be there. Hopefully we'll have more. Obviously, last time we had 185 people show up, so it was awesome. Anyways, you'll learn more about Connection Fest later. Met Katelyn at Connection Fest. We reconnected afterwards, continued the conversation, and now we're here. Katelyn works with a really awesome organization called Renewing the Countryside, and she is the director of the local food coordination and all the other fun stuff that they do. But you're not going to hear it from me. You're going to hear it from her. So before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe to this show on our YouTube channel, Beyond the Bottom Line. You can watch it as well on Bravehearts TV, streaming on Roku and Amazon Fire and all major streaming platforms. And you'll be able to catch this episode as well on our site, givesweet.com/their website, because they get their own page on our site with all the information to learn more about their organization for you to go out there and connect with them. So let's dive into the show, because nobody cares about me. Let's talk about you. Katelyn, it's a pleasure to have you. It's a pleasure to come back and circle back on the conversation. What's going on? What's your deal?
Yeah, thanks for having me. So as you said, I work for Renewing the Countryside, and we're a nonprofit based in Minnesota, but we work across Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. And we work alongside farmers, communities, and other partners to just to build stronger local food systems, support conservation efforts, and really just help rural communities thrive. And we tend to do this work at the intersections, bringing people together and helping turn good ideas into practical action. And so I have lots of coworkers that work directly with farmers and growers in rural areas. But my role is more on the other side of the food system, working with small businesses who use local food and agriculture in their products, and who are really trying to bring their small businesses to grocery stores and other markets.
That's really awesome. So how did you get into the nonprofit sector? How did you even find these guys to connect with? Because there's a ton, this is a really cool organization, by the way, but like, how did you get involved? How did you get connected? And what got you into this crazy, wacky rabbit hole of nonprofits?
Sure. Yeah. Great question. I guess I've always been drawn to nonprofits. I think mostly because of the missions that are driving these nonprofits, and I think it's just been really cool to be part of that. I first got my introduction to the food world through AmeriCorps, actually, right out of undergrad. I worked at a food bank network out in Colorado, and I thought there's so much more to learn about the food system. And also, why am I even working at a food bank? Ideally, we wouldn't need to have food relief. And so there are just lots of solutions out there that I wanted to learn more about and hopefully be part of. And so I continued to study food systems and ended up back here, living in the Twin Cities, in Minnesota. And I worked again in food relief at another nonprofit. And then I found a job working with small food businesses. So combining nonprofits with the small business ecosystem was really cool and unexpected for me. But we supported them with a grant program for emerging and underrepresented CPG, consumer packaged goods, food and beverage makers in Minnesota. And so I did work with them for over a year. And as part of a strategic partnership, I actually just moved over to Renewing the Countryside earlier this year, with that grant program. And so we've already seen our application period just closed. And so we've already seen that Renewing the Countryside has really expanded the reach of this grant program. And we've received a lot more applications than we did last year. So I'm really excited to continue this grant program, and other local foods work with Renewing the Countryside.
That's way cool. That is way, way cool. So tell us a little bit more about the work that Renewing the Countryside does. And then I'm just curious to know more about the space in general that you guys are in, like the specific nonprofit space that you're in, because there's a lot of different organizations out there who do this and help with food, and things like that. So what do you guys do specifically? What makes you unique? And how is this space really run? Is it a lot of people? Do you guys all collaborate in different ways in different cities and different states? Like, is there like a network of people like this within these things? Because they're everywhere. They're all over the country.
Yeah, great question. I think that what really does set us apart is the collaboration and the collaborative piece. We know that there are lots of other food and agriculture and sustainability organizations out there, and so um, I think we definitely tend to think of ourselves as connectors, whether that be connectors to resources or connectors to people and organizations who can support you in your local area. And so we do work with a lot of other partner organizations across the Midwest. Um, Specifically for I have lots of coworkers that work in farm business management, land conservation, women in conservation, especially, as well as farm ownership transition, um, and sustainable agriculture practices. So, yeah, so that's been very cool to learn about from them and their great work with farmers and growers. And then continuing along within the food system with food businesses, including agricultural producers, if they're looking for markets to sell their products at, as a small business or a farmer or grower. We also connect them with farmers markets, early care and school systems too. And then another program that I'm involved with too is our Feast Local Foods programming. And so with
Mm,
those two events, we connect small food businesses
okay.
with sorry, with industry buyers. So people who are interested in bringing more local foods to their customers, if they work at grocery stores, to the students if they work at schools, and other institutions like hospitals, for example, that are interested in incorporating more local foods. So we have that event every spring. And then in the fall, which we're currently planning right now, we also have the public facing version of that industry only event. And so with that event, we're connecting small businesses and food growers and farmers with the public, people who are interested in eating and sourcing more local foods and just filling their kitchens with food made by people that they know.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And it seems like there's a massive need for this around the country, because a lot of, and the truth is, in the space that you're in, now the way things are going in America, make America healthy again. I think this is a really opportune time to be involved in this type of stuff where there's we're dealing with agriculture and farmers and healthier eating and things like that. Is that something that you guys, focus on as well, like healthier eating habits through the different programs you're doing as well?
Yeah, I think it might not be a specific program area, but it's all related, right? And so I think especially with our farm to early care programs, a lot of the farmers that we work with are smallholder farmers and also use organic or sustainable practices. And so already it's more nutritious than maybe
Hmm.
conventional farming products. And so bringing those directly to kids in their learning settings is already really increasing the nutrition that they're able to access. And so, yeah, I think it's definitely an important part of eating local too.
No, that's really interesting. I actually a couple of years ago, I had a client that was one of the I'm based in Israel. I think I mentioned that to you. And we had a client that was one of the largest farms in southern Israel. And then when the war, and they supplied all the vegetables and all the things to different army bases, to the schools and other things like that. And they were a group of guys who were like five guys who none of them were farmers. They bought a bunch of land in the desert and then they set up like farming systems and hydroponic systems to help it grow. It was really cool. And then unfortunately when the war happened, like they had 140 dunam of land and like most of it got blown up. And so they were rebuilding. We helped them fundraise and helped them get back into it. But I got to learn a lot about farming and I got to learn a lot about farming in the desert. Can you imagine like, like you're dealing with farms like where you're dealing with soil and you're dealing with water and you're dealing with all the like the normal conventional farming stuff. This was like farming in sand, and it was like the craziest, coolest thing I've ever seen. And these guys are growing peppers and tomatoes and cucumbers and like eggplants and like everything you could possibly imagine. And I was
Wow.
like, man, that is so freaking cool. So I find this stuff very fascinating. And agritech also, there's a lot of stuff. I don't know if you guys delve into like the agriculture, like the tech side of it. There's just like so much going on in the agritech space too. But I don't know how deep you guys go or you're just like dealing with the farmers direct and helping them get their stuff out there.
Yeah, not too much on the agri-tech side of things. I mean, people are so innovative though that there are lots of new tools coming out. I just heard about an app that helps farmers connect with wholesale buyers to see
Nice.
like are they ready for this specific wholesaler? What is this wholesaler looking for? Just to help sort out all of those details, just to know if they're ready to go to market there. But yeah, I don't think at least in the programs that I work with, we don't work too much with agri-tech. But definitely with my coworkers that work with farmers, just helping them to access maybe some of the tools and machinery that they need.
That's pretty tight. So what's the origin story behind you guys? Because everyone's got a great origin story, like Batman. Like why did you guys start this? Well, you didn't start it, but like why did the founder start this organization?
Yeah, from what I understand, it goes back over 20 years now, RTC, and it has really evolved to add all of these programs. But originally, I believe it just started out as more of a storytelling platform for growers and farmers in rural areas. There's a series of books. It was based on a series, but added to it for Renewing the Countryside, Minnesota, and Renewing the Countryside, Iowa. And so,
Hmm.
yeah, just trying to uplift those farmer stories and share it with other people who are interested in local foods.
It's similar to this video show, similar to this show. We're trying to uplift people's stories, nonprofit people's stories, and share with other people who are interested in learning more about you guys. And that's really what it's all about. Like, everyone has a story. You ever like, you in the day-to-day work that you're doing, you probably talk to some of these farmers, you probably work with some of these people, and everyone's got an interesting story, but no one ever talks about their story because no one ever gives them a platform to do it. I think that's awesome. And that started off as that and then turned into this organization where you're actually going on the ground, like boots on the ground, really doing stuff and having fun with it. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it's a really special thing to be a part of and to um, kind of trace back the history of renewing the countryside. There's so much to learn from, of course, our founders, Jan Joanitis and Brett Olson, and also from all of my new coworkers now who have been with renewing the countryside. And in recent years, we've definitely, it sounds like, added many different programs just based on, like you said, being having boots on the ground and seeing what farmers and growers um, might need and what kinds of resources they're looking for in these current times.
That's pretty awesome. So with your current role, how does that impact the organization on a larger scale, what you're doing? How do you help them like really make an impact? Because it seems like you do a lot of really cool stuff in your role.
Well, I hope I hope I'm adding to the positive impact. I guess when I joined the team, I did come aboard with this grant program. So I know that Renewing the Countryside has provided grants before through other programs, but this is a new one for specifically CPG, food and beverage, and agricultural producers in Minnesota. And so it is adding another financial resource for food businesses out there. Um, so yes, we're really hoping to. I mean, I hope to continue this program further in future years too. But as far as Feast, that program is one of the larger ones that I believe we have, and a really long-standing one too. Feast has been going on since 2014,
Wow.
and actually the two main program leads, I would say, just recently stepped away this year too, and so really trying to carry
Hmm.
on this legacy of Feast, and making sure that we can still reach lots of other food businesses across Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa, and really just bring more attention to local food and agriculture.
That's pretty awesome. Why did they step down?
I think it was just time. One of them is actually she just moved abroad, so ready to be closer to family, and our my other former coworker, I guess, she had been working part time with another organization that
Hmm.
works with grains in the Midwest, and so is has transitioned full time with them.
Nice. Grains can be interesting, I suppose.
Yes. I do think there's going to be collaboration, with that organization too, so we'll continue to work with her, of course, but, yeah, grains is cool.
Grains are cool. I mean, like, listen, this whole space is cool because you guys are feeding people. You're really like you're bringing it's farm to table, man. That's the ultimate in awesomeness. And so when you do you ever go out to the farm? Do you ever been out to any of these farms or like? you ever like gone and like pick some vegetables or anything like that, or you just kind of stick around the office?
Mostly the office, but my coworkers do go out to the farms pretty frequently, from what I understand. I have been able to get out to some of the farms that we've been able to work with. Mostly, I'm thinking of this separate nonprofit that one of my coworkers at Renewing the Countryside started called Farm Buds. And
Hmm.
so that's a really cool program that he's been doing for a while now, where he organizes groups of volunteers to go out to different farms in the area and just support them with whatever projects that they're working on currently. And so that's been fun to really get in the dirt there. And
Yeah, no, it is. It's actually, like going back to what I was telling you about the farm here in Israel, when there was a lot of shortage, no, a lot of work shortage of workers, people used to come and volunteer. Like they had mission trips down to come down and volunteer to pick stuff. And I actually, one of the programs I set up for them was really cool. We did agritourism because a lot of people wanted to come down and see what was going on down south. And then one of my friends is a tour guide, so he brought everybody down, and part of it was, you get the experience of going to pick the vegetables and seeing it and helping with it, and you make a $250 donation to come on the trip. And it worked real well because and no one was doing it. Agritourism, like no one was doing it, and it was really cool,
Mhm.
and it worked for a while, and then it just got too hot, so people stopped coming down.
Sure.
But I mean, like, do you guys have like with that farm buds thing sounds pretty interesting, and people love to probably go out there and pick vegetables and have a lot of fun because you probably get to take home some of the stuff you pick. No.
Well, let's see. I don't know. I haven't been on a Farm Buds trip yet that actually has done the harvest part of it, but I mean, everyone has been so generous with, yeah, with their time and knowledge, and so it's been pretty cool to be in community with other people who also care about local farms and farmers and local food systems.
Well, it's fun if you're into that kind of stuff. It's really fun. You want to go out there and get your feet dirty and get your hands dirty and go out there and pick some cucumbers. I mean, it's a fun time.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
So how do you guys get fund? Like, how do you guys have, or how you fund it? Like, you get donations, you get grants, you get like what's your funding like?
Yeah, that's a great question. We are a little bit of everything, from what I understand. We just had our annual fundraiser actually in June, which was very fun. Fun fundraiser. It was a fun fundraiser. It was actually built into the name, so it's not a new joke from me. But yeah, and it was a really great time to see all of these people who want to support the cause. And yeah, so we definitely do rely on donations, community foundations, grants, and other state and some federal funding too. But we're always looking to diversify our funding and yeah, and just build more support for our organization.
That's that's pretty cool. So as we wrap up this really awesome episode, first of all, thank you for joining me. It was a real pleasure, and I like continuing the conversation from the event and from our previous call. What piece of advice would you give to somebody who is looking to get into the nonprofit space? Someone similar to you, where you got into it as a volunteer thing and the trajectory. Now you're in the position that you're at. What would you tell somebody who's like your younger self, I guess?
Yeah, that's a really good question to close.
Yeah,
I think
I'm good at that.
I really think that it comes down to finding out about what you care about. Um, so I think I would, yeah, go back and ask myself, like, is this, and good thing the answer is yes, like, is this something that you really care about and want to dedicate yourself to, both professionally and honestly personally too. I think that in the nonprofit space, um, people really put all of themselves into their work, and I think that's really special. And yeah, I also think food and agriculture is a really great place to be. There are good people here, and so yeah, just finding something that you really care about and you're passionate about, and that will hopefully lead you in the right direction.
Way cool. Well, Caitlin, thank you so much for joining us on this episode. I look forward to sharing with you so you can share it with your audience. And they can also watch it, as I said, on our YouTube channel, Beyond the Bottom Line Show, as well as Bravehearts TV. And we'll be sending you the entire PR page so you can share this out to your networks. So, how can people get in touch with you guys? How can people find you? Are you guys on social media? Are you guys like, where are you guys hanging out?
Yeah, we do have our website, renewingthecountryside.org. We also are on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Oh, we also have a YouTube page too.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's got to be fun.
Yeah, yeah. We'd love to hear from you. So feel free to
All
reach out.
right. Give them a
Yeah, and
like and
thanks
a
for
subscribe.
oh, yes, that too. Yeah, yeah, that would
Uh,
be great. But
what
yeah,
kind of
thank you
video?
so much for this opportunity.
Absolutely. What kind of videos you guys put up on your YouTube channel?
Kind of a variety. I think just like snippets of our work, kind of what we're involved in. We also separately for one of our programs, Feast, we also have a YouTube there just to kind of show some photos and videos of what the events are all about. Hopefully gives a good taste.
That's awesome. Well, Katelyn,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us on the show. You guys, please go check out their socials, like and subscribe to their YouTube channels, join them for Feast if you're in the Minnesota area. If not, make a donation to them because your money is going to go towards helping people and helping farmers, which is something I really like and Katelyn really likes. So until next time, keep on keeping on, keep changing the world, keep making the world a better place, and keep doing the wonderful things you all do. And we'll catch you on the next episode of Beyond the Bottom Line.
Thanks, Sean.